everyone! This video is on the topic of removing the treat lure and turning it into a hand signal when training using treats. So at first, you're luring the dog into the position with the treat, marking and reinforcing the dog for staying in the position like this if it's a stationary behavior, and then feeding the dog a treat. So what I like to do is, as I get the dog into the position like that, at the beginning I mark and reinforce, but I also get the dog used to the concept of the lure disappearing, and I will move it away from the dog before marking and reinforcing. So if I lure the dog into the sit, the treat disappears like this and then comes back to the dog. Once the dog is reliably following the lure and you can move your hand away and the dog stays in the position, you can then start to not have the treat in your hand. So you pretend to get a treat, lure the dog into the position, mark, get a treat, and then give it to the dog like that. Then on the next trial, go back to using a treat for a couple of times, because if you suddenly just don't have any treats in your hand, it can be very confusing to your dog. So practice doing a couple of repetitions with treats in your hand and then no treat, where you're pretending to get a treat. Then after a couple of training sessions, or even if your dog is really catching on, you can show the dog you have no treat in your hand and then do the luring gesture as though you're holding the treat. Good. I have a video that goes into more detail about training the position changes and getting rid of the treats as the lures for those specific behaviors, and I'll link that in the description below. Some of you might have run into the issue that if you don't have a treat in your hand, or you don't have your bait bag or treats in your pocket, your dog doesn't listen because they've become savvy that when there are no treats present, that it means they're not going to get reinforced for what they're doing. So I'm going to show you a quick game you can play in your house using behaviors you've already trained, but this isn't going to be a very efficient way to train new behaviors. When you train a new behavior, you can have treats in your hands, wearing your bait bag, and train the new behaviors. But then once the dog knows the behaviors, you can start to, with the strong behaviors, have a treat container on a counter like this. Put your bait bag away, show your dog you have no treats, and then ask for the behaviors that are really strong. And she loves standing on her back feet, which I'm trying to discourage, but she knows leg weaving. So I'm going to get her to weave my legs. Good. And then I'm going to go and get her a treat from over here. Good job. If this is the first time that you've played a game where the treats are away from you, it can be very confusing to the dog. So you might have a couple treats on you and ask for the behaviors with the dog like this. And then when the treats run out, ask for another behavior. Good. Show them you have nothing, and then go get a treat from the counter. Awesome. Good job. Ready? Go legs. Go legs. Good. Now I don't have any treats. Go legs. Go legs. Good. I'm just going to go get you one now. Good job. Go circle. Go circle. Good. Good girl. Awesome. Well done. Go legs. Go legs. Good. Good girl. And then if I were to train a new behavior, I could get my treats, put them here, and then make it more convenient for me to use a higher rate of reinforcement where I'm not doing all this walking around in between the training, which could lead to the dog getting distracted about what they're learning, as well as doing other things in between the training, like jumping up on you, or in her case, walking on her back legs. If I were to walk over there all the time, she might get bored and want to walk on her back legs to see what I'm doing. Once you've had success with teaching your dog to work for you, even though you don't have any treats on your body or in a bait bag or in your hands, you can then start to use access to the environment as the reinforcer for doing the behaviors. So at first, say for example, your dog really wants to go out the door, you can use a treat to ask your dog to sit, and say if you're right in front of the door to go out, your dog is too excited to be able to work for the treats, you might come back into the living room, ask for the sit with the treat, and then go to the door and say, okay, let's go, and invite the dog through the door. Eventually, you can get to the point where you're right next to the door and the dog is understanding that to get through the door, they first have to sit for the treat, and then be invited, okay, let's go. And then they get to go outside and go play or whatever it is that they find really reinforcing, maybe go inside the car. So they don't necessarily need to sit, but you can ask for any behavior that your dog is really strong at, so something that they find really easy to do. So if your dog has just learned a new behavior, keep working on that before trying to ask for it in terms of access to the environment, saying hi to another dog or saying hi to a person on the street or getting to sniff something. So really easy ones are eye contact, asking the cue to touch your fingers, asking for a sit or a down if your dogs know those behaviors, or you could even do some freestyle behaviors, which I like to do with my dogs. Here you can see Lacey is learning attention means access to getting to do exactly what she wanted to do. I have a video that goes into more detail about teaching your dog to work for you for access to the environment rather than just treats, which makes it more reliable if your dog's not feeling hungry, that they'll still do what you want them to do because they know that it's always in their best interest. And I'll link that video in the description below. Here's some footage of my Border Collie Halo at about 9 months old, where for a month he stopped finding food reinforcing when we were out of the house. And as you can see in this footage, he still is able to do the behaviors because I've played games like the ones that I've described in this video.
Okay, go. Go play. Halo, come. You want the treat? Ready? Twirl. Halo, go legs. Woo. Halo, go legs. Okay, go. Go play. Halo, come. Down. Okay, go play. Go play.
Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support my work, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. You can also become a supporting member of channel Kikopup by clicking the join button. See you later.